We are so thrilled to welcome two great representatives of junior achievement of Memphis in the Mid-South right now, the board chairperson, Kelly Lomax, and Chief Academic Officer, Keisha Ivey. Thank you both so much for taking time out to be on A Better Memphis.
Well, thank you for having us.
All right. Well, I was just telling you, I know you're building right there on Sam Cooper at Tillman. Yep. And it's become an iconic building and a place many kids go on field trips. We know JA strives to make this a better Memphis every day. How do y'all do that?
Well, I'll tell you, we have great community partners and we have a great staff with Junior Achievement, really led by Lee and Keisha. Keisha does, and her team do an amazing job with really the programming and all of the teaching materials that really, you know, as you've said, you've been there, you've seen the students, and they come out, they're energized, they're ready to learn and more excited. And unfortunately, I think the saddest part is when they have to actually leave. They don't want to leave, they want to keep learning. So for me, I would say that it's really the great team that we have, led by Lee and Keisha and all the great programming and community partners.
Well, it's first class all the way, top to bottom. And it's filled with kids during the school year, right? Oh, yeah. And so your title on your website says, Every Child World Ready. And how does JA accomplish that goal, Keisha?
So we do it in various different ways because it means something different for every child. So when we talk about making every child world ready, we're really talking about taking them from where they are currently and moving them past their current understanding. So you may come in and your next world may look different than your current world. So you may be from a different school, you have a different attitude, but a lot of times when the kids walk into JA, they have this certain mindset, and sometimes when they leave JA, most of the times when they leave JA, they've grown so much. So they've saw careers that they never saw existed. And then they also see companies that are right here in our great city that they never really knew what were the possibilities of them actually staying in Memphis and having a career of choice. So I think when they leave, that's how they become ready for the world, because their world started off one place and then after it left, it ended in another one.
Indeed. All right. So how are your programs administered to K through 12 students here throughout the Mid-South?
Well, Keisha really, you know, obviously she's the one that creates it, but, you know, it's really experiential learning. That's the best way for, you know, students to learn. So we've got BizTown, where they'll come through and actually run a city. We've got Finance Park, where they can learn different parts of finances, how to run a business, how to, you know, balance checkbooks. We'll go into schools and actually teach, you know, kindergartners, first graders about community, wants versus needs, you know, how to budget, you know, things like that. So really start really young, going through 8th grade, and it's really a meticulous process. But why don't you jump in and kind of tell them a little bit more about what you guys do with the programming?
So we work with schools first off. We work with schools throughout the school year. We work with all schools. No matter if you're private, public, you can be homeschooled, it doesn't matter. We work with every school. If you want to be a part of our programming, you could be a part of our programming. And so, and I know we like to talk about it as a field trip, but actually it's a lot more than that because curriculum is attached. So the students just don't show up at BizTown. So they've learned from their teachers. They've had 12 units of curriculum. So when they get there, it's like, now that we've learned it, let's see, can we actually run the town? So they are responsible for having their own government, responsible for paying their employees, responsible for breaks, responsible for their own payroll. And so that starts before they actually get there. So it's why we call it experiential learning, because it's more like a magical realism. It's like that they get to bring in, it's their town, their rules. But they've learned about it, so when they get there, they understand, like, we need each other in order to make our town work. So it's really magical, I said, when you see it, but it takes place in the classroom, and then it comes to the building.
So that's the secret.
That's
that's how all that preparation pays off.
Absolutely.
When the young people are there. Okay. Well, what are some of the results you're seeing?
So many. You want to start, Kelly?
Yeah, I would say transformation or transformative. You know, we do a lot of metrics at JA. That's one thing we really pride ourselves. We measure everything. So we know when you give us $1, what programming it's going to, things like that. And, you know, for me as the board chair, I've been on the organization for about 12 years now, and each year I get more excited. When you go talk to our alumni, kids that have gone through it, you know, 68% of them, you know, have a better chance of getting an advanced degree, earning a living that's 20% higher than the U.S. average. 45% of them will tell you that JA programming helped shape their work ethic. You know, another 40% would say that we actually impacted their career choice. So, you know, when you hear things like that, you see those statistics, you know, it shows that the impact we are making, not just on the kids, but really with the workforce. And, making our communities better, making sure that we have the right people for all the jobs that are coming, which is very important in today's living in Memphis in the Mid-South.
Yes.
All of the organizations that we've got coming looking to relocate to Memphis. I mean, you've got Ford Blue Oval, 7,000 employees, not to be outdone by, all the different, Aon Corporation,
Yes.
Amplify Cell, so you have all that, there's a need, and we've got the product to help really ensure that we have the workforce.
Well, I know that you have a big anniversary this year, 70 years in Memphis in the Mid-South, a great legacy, and so you have a 1955 society, right?
Yes.
70 years ago. Well, thank you both very, very much for joining us, and congratulations and continued success to Junior Achievement of Memphis in the Mid-South, shaping our young people to become the entrepreneurs that many of us hope that they become. I was just sharing before we came back from break, Ron, that my 7-year-old twin grandchildren sold me some art last night that they had just created. So they're going to be there. I think they've got an advanced class. They're going to be in the AP class for JA, Ron.